think like the day-to-day life too is so like like the inspiration, like making my coffee and how good it tastes. I can, it makes its coffee at 5:30. Don't judge.
I just had a Red Bull.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, that's one thing I was doing too last night. It's like, so much of like, I think what would help me is like doing things just because I enjoy them. Like I was like, I want to like get back on my Duolingo streak. I want to like take like a salsa class, which is sounds so cheesy, but it's just like movement and living, you know?
I went to a pussy energy class the other day. It's called Big Pussy Energy, and it's like a sensual dance thing. And she's like, record yourself so you can see your progress. And it was great because at first I was like, okay, I want to get the routine, the dance moves, quote unquote, right. And then, so I noticed a big shift. I was like, no, just have fucking fun. Like dance, move your body, get out of like the judgment or the judger of, because you're being witnessed by other women in the room too. And so it's like one group goes, one group witnesses, one group goes, one group witnesses. And so, but once I finally was able to like drop that sense of like, or the pressure that I was putting on myself, I like was like able to have fun with it and like tap into it or just have more fun and enjoy the dance class. So I don't think the dance class is silly at all. And I say like, do it.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
But that's the thing too. It's like, it's about recalibrating kind of like your value in terms of like results versus like experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like being creative in that way. And so, oh man, it's super hard, but it's like I have to follow, as someone like being a man agent, it's like I have to follow where my interests are, and it's okay to be like have more than one lane. And I think part of the reason, I was thinking about this too, like part of the reason different things appeal to me is not just because I enjoy those mediums, but I think for me a huge part of it is back to not just like connection from what you create, but also collaboration. Like I've like helped my friends write some songs. I've like given my friends advice on like, that's like a fashion designer. And it's just like, I love that kind of creative play process. That's almost like, it's just so valuable to me, you know, because it's just connection at the end of the day. You say what?
I said, I want to do something with you. I've wanted to do something with you for years.
I know.
Like whether it's a script or a song or, I mean, we're doing this.
I know. We did it, Joe.
We're here. Yeah.
There's something else.
Knows where we'll go. Yeah, no, just because I value like your insight and your creative genius.
Oh my gosh, stop it.
I mean, take it, sister, like, for real. I mean, I just think that you're so talented.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. No, so what would you say is like the biggest one calling to you right now besides this lovely podcast? I don't know.
I mean, gosh. I would say it's so hard. It's so hard to pick, but it's like, it's almost like I think this is like going to be the first year where I really let multiple projects kind of pull me as they inspire me, because I think, you know, in the same way, like when you think about like working out, right? It's like, you can't always do it when you have the motivation. You just have to show up and keep doing it. But it's like, ultimately, there's always going to be one of those like projects that I'm working on that's going to pull me. And if I just need to stay in this one for a little bit, and then once I'm kind of like, okay, it's not feeling as in flow, then I can kind of jump over to the next one. And like the 3 things that I'm working on right now, I would say would be definitely trying to like do stand up again. I've been feeling the pull. I've kind of reconnected with a couple of my comic buddies lately, and they're like, why are you doing it? Like, you've always been so funny. And one of the things I think I'm drawn to that the most is because it doesn't really require as much polish, you know, like it's just a little bit like, especially when you think about the world that we live in, you know, like Instagram and TikTok and all of these.
Hallelujah, TikTok though.
Oh my gosh, we'll see. We'll see, sister. But it's like there's so much kind of like fabrication, for lack of a better
Mm,
word, like, which is great. I mean, that's part of building something, whatever you want to do. But there's just, to me, I always say like my favorite drug in the world is just like uncontrollable laughter. Like there's nothing like it.
mm,
And it's just like I've always felt like you can get to know somebody by making them laugh really hard with a joke versus like spending 30 minutes like, so where are you from? How many siblings do you have? Like, what's your favorite color? And it's like
mm,
because there's just something that you recognize, and then it's it's the experience, the laughter, and then it's just that immediate kind of knowing like, oh, I know that person in a way because that's
mm.
like I relate to it, and it's just a natural like human connection element. I like it because it's scary.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Um,
to me, it is the scariest form of art. Like to me, that's the one that takes the most balls, the biggest pussy. Like that, or like this. Because for me, when I think about doing stand up, I'm like, oh, that one feels vulnerable and raw. You know,
yeah, it's
um,
like I kind of liken it to like that Dolly Parton quote where it's like it takes a lot of money to look this cheap. It's like it takes a lot of like thought
mhm,
to especially to come up because I'm of the belief that like delivery is as important as the material because I remember
mm,
and like when I first ever started doing that I think it was like 2012. I think I went to an open mic like four times and I was like, this is going to be the time that I sign up. This is going to be the time. And I remember looking around the room and I'm like, like, why? Like, why am I even worried about this? But then when I actually think about doing it, I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And you just see so many people die on the vine. Like, there were people that would just be like, so like, yeah, like, and then like I ate her pussy, or whatever. And it's like, it's not even good material, but
yeah.
it's so much more like enjoyable other than you see somebody that like has great material but they're like this they're just like and then and it's just like you're so taken out of the experience, so I think it's like equal parts that. And I also just think like, and I think that totally speaks to the idea that you and I both have of like everything serves you. Speaking of serving, like being in restaurants and having to kind of think on your feet, like my wit has definitely come in come in handy for that. And I think just kind of having to come up with things on the spot like that totally lent itself to like how I do stuff because even though in the past it's been so long I haven't really done stand up since like pre-COVID, which is why I'm like, oh, but I was like that was like 3 Kristens ago too, so it's interesting. I've never felt more like myself, so it'd be interesting to see like
Mm,
how that experience would be now
mhm. Yeah.
because it was only kind of towards the very end that I was like actually enjoying it. It just felt like living a panic attack but acting like nothing was happening for
Mm.
a long time.
Yeah.
Like inside I'm like the guy, but outside I'm like in your pussy.
Yeah.
So that's super interesting.
I
But
want to
then,
be there when you do it. And
oh my
like
gosh,
Austin is a mecca now.
I
Like the
know.
comedy mothership. Think they have open night or open mic nights on like Sundays or Mondays or something.
I know. I
Let's
just need to come down
go.
there anyway and come
Or let's
see
at
you.
least go visit. Yes, I'll go visit. No pressure. but, but
No, and it's like I just feel more in this space of like, yeah, I think I can just like say whatever the fuck I want to say because another thing, like this is like going back to the idea that life's always serving you is
Mhm.
I think about like my role at the venue and like what I do. I remember thinking like, oh, it's gonna be like rock stars and like, and I wasn't really worried about it just because like my experience in like fine dining and all of that stuff. I mean, I've waited on actors, athletes, like politicians, stuff like that. But it was just more like, but but like it's just a different world, you know, like I'm kind of jumping into their world. But all of the skills that I learned in comedy and in serving, like totally helps me with that. And that's what I
Well,
always
drop
kind of.
in real quick what exactly you're doing for people
So I work in the production department at a popular venue here,
who don't want to
under.
say it.
Well, I was like, should I? I don't know. I
I
mean, I
don't
might get some
know. Oh, maybe not.
stalkers, you know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd have to
true.
get past security because I'm backstage, but no. So yeah, I work in the live. I work in the production department there, and my role is called green room hospitality. So like, if somebody wants like blue Skittles and yellow roses and like a pony, like I'm the person that like facilitates that. Kind of just like a general liaison for like little grievances, like keeping the tour happy, comfortable, like depending on if we're like facilitating their meals or picking up
Mhm.
their food, like kind of that stuff, setting up the stage, side stage, waters, all of that stuff, flipping the green rooms, just basically like I'm like because we do have a show to put on, so like the stage manager, if they have to be the bad cop to kind of protect our bottom line, but also keep the show on time, like I'm kind of the good cop to kind of come in and make sure
Oh,
everything's
okay.
kind of smooth. So with that, it's like that's an element that's almost been so interesting. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, is it going to be like my worst table every night, every day? Like, because, they're
Yeah.
expecting a certain thing. But weirdly, like, I have not had one experience with like a rock star or a comedian or anybody that was anywhere remotely close to like some of the horrible people that I've waited on and just like
Oh.
regular rich people. It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. Like I remember being like, "Oh my God, people
Maybe
are
that's
terrible." And it's so
something.
funny too because it's like I feel like a lot of the times people cop those attitudes because they want to be more
The
like the
star.
lifestyle of like
Yeah.
the people that I'm actually working with now.
Yeah.
And it's been cool because I think there's just something about being in the building and being in that department that like it's almost like 9 times out of 10, I would say that the tours kind of like remove that glass, the kind of like that
Mhm.
distance that they have with fans, and you get to see a little bit more of like, you know, the artist behind the art kind of a thing. And
Mhm.
I've like been taking so many notes of like things that inspire me through that too. So, and you could just see how like, especially now that I've been doing it for over a year, how normal like their life is in that way. I mean, it's
Mhm.
not normal because it's just there is a little bit of like that rock and roll and kind of flash, but like there's just so much normal human moments in it
Mhm.
across the board, whether it's like their production team or their people or the artists themselves or
Well, it put me in.
just
It would put me in a sense of or a place of visualization too. Like,
oh,
okay,
totally.
how is it going to look one day whenever I am doing XYZ or executing this or living this vision or version of myself? And like, I think I love like the artist way, and I made a commitment to start taking myself on artist dates again to fill the creative well and like be more inspired and like you get exposed to like different shows on a regular and consistent basis. So you're like filling your creative well with all this like good juiciness and inspiration. And I think that's cool. And I love what you said too about just like everything serving us. I mean, I just came off of a little recording. I was going to try to squeeze in a solo podcast before we hopped on.
Hmm.
And I realized that for some reason, the sound didn't record. So I was like, oh, like it sounded like me. You
And
know?
sometimes, yeah, sometimes I think you
Yeah.
totally need that. And that's one
Mhm.
thing that kind of I feel like has recalibrated my mind back towards like how does my creative pursuits both like inputting into my well and then kind of exporting, if you will, how like it's brought that idea to the forefront of like how does the experience feel, because it's not just like when I watch certain shows or like because when the show's actually going on itself I kind of have a free moment because everybody that
Mhm.
needs me is on stage. And so just not just like seeing what they're putting out, but just seeing like how the audience receives it, you know, because
Mm.
the days can be really long. Like I'm going to be working a show on Wednesday where our crew call is at 7:30 a.m. and I probably won't leave. We get there before their venue access. Was that a burp?
No, it was just more of like a for 7:30
Oh,
a.m.
with you, you know, I just,
But I do
yeah.
burp. Burps are welcome here on the podcast. I feel
Yeah,
like
and
they're moving energy.
so we have to get there an hour before they have venue access, and then we leave after they leave. So I'll probably be there from like 7:30 a.m. to like 1 a.m.
Woo!
It's a lot. It's a lot, but it's exciting. It's fun, and like part of it, what helps is like one, like coffee for sure, but it's just like the I always love being out in the crowd when the headliner goes on and it's like all dark and then people are like cheering, and then once they see them emerge, it's just this like it just like vibrates the room,
Mm,
you know, and that's what really like has grounded the idea, because everybody believes in energy and like, you know, it's like good vibes, bad vibes, whatever, but how transferable it is, because there's been
mm.
times where like, especially if I'm like unfamiliar with an artist, that's where it like wows me more, and I'm like kind of tired, so I just kind of go out to the side like up top and like look out, and then I'm like, that was incredible, like this, they're amazing, and I just feel energized all of a sudden,
Yeah,
and it's just like
yeah.
you see the
Life
effect that
giving.
you have on people. I feel like for me, I'm realizing that what I create is for me, but it's definitely with the intention of wanting to give to others. And
Mm-hmm.
Rick Rubin is somebody that I super
Oh,
look up
I
to.
love
And
that book. Oh,
I haven't read it yet. I know I'm a poser, but like I
no,
watch
it's a
interviews
good
with
one
him,
to just, I mean, oh, you watch what? Videos?
just like interviews with him a lot.
Oh,
And he's
cool.
like, you're never supposed to make anything for other people. It's not for
Yeah.
them, it's for you. And
Mm,
that's the best thing that you can do for the audience.
yeah.
And so I'm definitely trying to adopt that way of thinking more. And just kind
Mhm.
of in the same way, like with stand up, you know, faking it till you make it. Like, you know, being so like laissez faire, but like dying inside is like, it's that same way of like when you can kind of get in the character of like your future self or the person that you want to embody, like people notice it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
There's a
that's what,
vibratory signature that you're admitting.
yeah, and
The
it's
Marilyn Monroe
interesting.
effect.
Yeah, it's like I remember when I was waiting tables, I would get a lot of the same compliments a lot, like you're so funny, you're so professional, like it was just a very polished experience, like your service felt very personal. And like some of the things, like I'm in the same way, like at the venue, it's like I'm getting the same feedback from the tours, but it's like obviously totally different. And it just makes me think like, huh, these people are around like the biz, you know, the
Mhm.
creative types all the time. So to kind of consistently get those comments from, I mean, all different types of people too. I've worked, you know, burlesque, country, rap, metal, rock, pop, like to just kind of consistently get this similar feedback. It's like, oh yeah, like it's definitely given me this idea that like I can. And that's I think the first step to real like creativity is like you can.
Yeah.
And
Believing in
like,
yourself.
yeah, like why not me?
Yeah.
So
Why not me?
we're learning. We're learning.
If we choose to.
Shoo-wee.
I know I've definitely been given a plethora of freaking lessons. I've actually been doing a lot of reflection the past week because about like lessons and creativity and art and like past self and future self, because it was the 10-year anniversary of getting interviewed by detectives, and like
Oh
how,
yeah.
yeah, like January 15th, 2015, and like how that felt like at my lowest of low, and I was not creatively expressing myself and doing all sorts of things. And I had a moment on this podcast that I recorded, I was talking about it, and I got emotional, and I was like, it's me today.
Oh.
Whispering to her then, like, you can do it. like you can do it. And or just like instilling that hope. And so I'm like, and then it also like plants the seed for me, like of the person like 10 years in the future, like what is she whispering to me today? And it's like,
Yeah.
I haven't written the letter yet. But it's also like kind of what you're speaking to, like care, how the way you're carrying yourself, or how you're, um, the energy that you're emitting to people, or like that vibration. And so I want to sit with that for sure. But yeah, it was very, it was just kind of had like that, truth resonance moment where, um, it's like you did the thing. It might have taken you a decade or or 12 years, 13 years to do it. But you finally listens to yourself. And I think that creativity is the greatest act of self-love, just because our nature, for me, in my opinion, like we're born from like this beautiful act of creation, and that we're meant to create in some way, whether it's bake a cake, do stand up, write a song, or write a book, or start a business. It just very much resonates with me that we can create, and that we can also co-create the life that we want to live. And I don't know. That's just where I feel with creativity. And holding my book for the first time when I did, it was like my baby and child.
Yeah.
And like that moment that visualize, and it just felt like, wow, okay. I listened to my longings and my desires, and the whispers may have had to turn into yells at some time.
Yeah.
But for me to finally apply the ash to chair and do the thing. But like, yeah.
Well, thinking about like your book, which is amazing, by the way, I've read it like 3 times, and every time I read it, I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe it
Really?
happened. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I was thinking about that too. And I think with you having such a plethora of crazy ass experiences, it's like, I know that for every creative, it's like, it's an alchemization of like
Mm.
experience and pain. And it's
Oh,
like, it's gonna eat you up if you don't let it out, you know? And so
yeah.
that's why I was also thinking about how badass of an executor you are. I mean, you wrote your book, you ghostwrite for other people, you do a podcast, you did a short film, like, you've done commercials, like, and that's one of the things I think about too, and why I've always like looked up to you is because you are such an executor. And that, I think comes from just like, just having a real sense of self and knowing, because I think for me, you've always like known who you were. I mean, and you've learned it, I think, earlier than most people, and um, you've just turned it into something so beautiful, and it really is so inspirational. Like, for me, I always kind of hesitate to pull the trigger on things because I'm like, oh, I don't know. And to just see you kind of be such a trailblazer in your own life, you've always inspired me.
Mm.
Now I'm going to cry. I wasn't going to say
No,
this till
I'm
the very
crying.
end, but it was like,
I'm-
to that note, I was thinking about how, like, I've always been a creative child and things like that, but it really wasn't until um, we became friends that I felt like something creative was like possible for me. And I met someone that like valued it the same way that I did.
Mm.
And you and your mom, and like spending all those nights around the dinner table together, and like I really feel like that's what initially like propelled me to feel like I could do something. Like, I always kind of, just based on like my upbringing and stuff, I was always going to have to be practical. I was always going to have to play
Mm.
small. And it really was your friendship and your example since we were 13 till now at 22 that, you know, like, I don't know. It's you've like, I do not ever want you to underestimate the impact that you've had on my life, truly, not only as like a creative person, but as a friend.